Phoenix tried to transition into Banshee Viking, but it was thwarted by gretorp, as he was able to produce enough Vikings, just enough to defend. And then he used a Banshee harassment actually to just tap out to TKO Phoenix. Once Phoenix saw those Banshees going after his natural expansions, and he didn't have any air superiority now that gretorp had so many Vikings on the field, he had his like 2 of his 3 his mining bases were going to be taken out by Banshees, and Phoenix just GG'd.
Wow, and this is Steps of War, and I think anything can happen on this map. What do you think, Surgeon?
Yeah, most likely we won't see it going past 3 base play on this map, as taking that 4th and 5th base is not common in TVT. And I mean, as people say, once you get a siege tank and they siege it up on their own side of the map, it's like it's already sieged up in your natural expansion. So siege tanks really make this map very small, and as it already is pretty small, so we could see a pretty quick game here from both players. So let's get this game started with gretorp spawning in the bottom left as the blue Terran on Steps of War, and Phoenix spawning as the red Terran in the top right. So it looks like they switched colors here on us and didn't really tell us. So Phoenix going for that barracks pretty close to the choke, but not blocking off.
So I have a question. How do you feel about that supply depot right by the Vestian Geyser?
Not a problem, as long as you put it down. But it looks like Phoenix, he knows that it's not going to block it. After I watched that in the last game, and the first SCV does get mixed up a little bit, but then after that, the next 3, it continues to mine properly. And we do have gretorp going for his signature gas first, barracks second, as well as his SCV coming out on a 15 supply, as well as Phoenix going out for 15 supply scout. It looks like Phoenix is not going to be going for an orbital command on 15. Or, yes, there it goes, finally, actually. I'm sorry, I was on gretorp's, and it looks like gretorp is just about to finish his barracks, and his SCV timing will allow him to get his orbital command on 16.
Yeah, both players going for a 16 orbital command.
So first Marine out for Phoenix. He's going to be trying to deny this scouting SCV here from gretorp. Really throwing me off here by gretorp going blue and Phoenix going red, but we'll try not to mix up the names. We do have the fast factory from gretorp again. So I really like this build where you get that fast factory. You're going to be able to put a lot of pressure. You can, if you see that your opponent is not getting that fast factory, not getting that fast starport, you can actually do a nice Banshee harass, as you will have that starport out a lot quicker than your opponent. So Phoenix is going for his reactor build again before his factory.
Yeah, he's got that early second refinery factory just now going down, and he has an SCV inside the base of gretorp, but yeah, he doesn't see that there's a factory with a tech lab being built, and its SCV will get shot down, but it will see the factory with tech lab, so that's very important information.
Yeah, so we might see blue flame Hellion again. I'm not sure if gretorp should really transition into that, as he did lose that game last time that he did on Zelnaga Caverns, where he did go to blue flame against this exact same build from Phoenix, where he went for the reactor first. So I believe, you know, in close rush distances maps, Phoenix decides to go for that reactor first, while gretorp will go for that blue flame Hellion. But gretorp really throwing everybody off by not getting any upgrades, not even getting one Hellion, and just going straight for a fast expansion. Love this play by gretorp.
Yeah, but meanwhile we have a starport going down from Phoenix, so it's kind of the fast expanding resource grabbing versus the teching Phoenix. And I want to say that gretorp has shown us that he does have the heart to defeat Phoenix, and you know, I am looking to see gretorp come back, and you know, we could see an upset here, but it's obviously too early in the game to tell. But the tension is I feel like is rising. You know, Phoenix was looking very comfortable in the first 2 games. And if you get too comfortable, then you'll get slack and lazy, and never underestimate your opponent, especially an opponent like gretorp.
Yeah, and in this such high-level play, you really don't want to underestimate them. You really want to play your heart out and really get that advantage early. And once you know you have that advantage, then you can decide in the late game to do something fun, but really early game.
And let me interrupt you. It looks like Siege Tech is going out for gretorp before Phoenix this time, so he's getting an early siege tech, which is a complete divergence from his previous build.
Yes, and Phoenix is going to see that late starport, so I'm not sure if he decides he wants to go for the Banshee, but no, he's not. He's just going to produce that second tank. He does have one out on the field. gretorp does have his natural expansion. Let's look at the vision for Phoenix. Yes, the vision does show that gretorp Phoenix does not see the natural expansion for gretorp. Gretorp is going to show one Hellion, and Phoenix, did he see it? I'm not quite sure because he's just sitting there as the he finally sees that Hellion. The Hellion might be able to run up into the wrap and get some information, but no, it just decides to get one shot off and gets taken out by those Marines. So, and the command center going down for Phoenix at the moment.
Yeah, there is a bunker at the ramp outside of the natural gretorp, so 4 Marines are hanging out in there, but I think 2 tanks could easily take down that bunker. Yet there are tanks out for gretorp with siege tech, so I don't think it would be wise for Phoenix to move out at the moment. He needs to get down his expansion, he needs to get out his Banshees, and that's really where he's comfortable. His Banshee is coming out now, so let's hope that Phoenix just kind of stays back and lets gretorp come to him while he harasses with Banshee. And the cloak is going down as well.
Yeah, so Phoenix looking to throw a delayed Banshee rush here, or Banshee harassment into this mix, which is really smart because it looks like gretorp has suspected that he's just going tanks and Marines and hasn't thrown down an engineering bay and doesn't have any turrets up to defend this. So looks like Phoenix is going to try to push into the middle map, maybe get
Phoenix
some
is going to try
map
move
control.
Right, moving out both with his siege tanks and Marines. And looks like the Banshee is going to see all those tanks up there. Didn't get a few pot shots.
Yeah, these tanks are very undefended. Not a lot of Marines on the field for gretorp, and gretorp is going to lose that first Marine and is going to be forced to pull back his tanks. But there is a Viking on the field, and Cloak is not finished, so he needs to run that Banshee away, and the Marines are there to support. So Phoenix is going to try to shell this natural expansion from the low ground, and gretorp did not rally his natural expansion command center, so that's a big problem here. You always want to rally that to the minerals. gretorp just needs to be calm and doesn't want to push up into this siege tank line, so he's just going to be calm.
Yeah, he is pushing up. He has a Viking, so that gives him vision. Let's hope that Phoenix doesn't have a scan, or he'll be able to take out the siege tanks. But no, his siege tanks do go down. They were too low. See, Phoenix was trying to take advantage of this map, which has that ledge there, but very smart play from gretorp with that Viking.
So Cloak is now finished for the Banshees, and Phoenix is moving in with that Cloak Banshee, but it's going to get pushed back by this scan along with one Viking, so he's not going to lose that Banshee, which is going to be critical into the late game. So SCVs do get transferred over. Oh my god, there's a Banshee in the main of gretorp, and he's got 6 kills, so that's why those SCVs are transferred. I'm sorry about that. With no scan, he does have some scans out, but he doesn't have enough Vikings, or he needs to use his Marines to defend this. So Phoenix is attacking from the front and the back, and he's doing so much damage. The Banshee is up to 8 kills. The other Banshee was taken out by the Viking in the front. So finally the Banshee does go down.
And I was just going to say that gretorp really just needs to be calm. He needs to just play the game that he knows, not fall apart with all this aggression. But it looks like he's going to move out. I'm not sure if it's wise. There are siege tanks right here, and I just don't know if this is a good push. Oh, but I guess there are only a couple of siege tanks. But I don't know. That's still. What do you think gretorp is thinking right now?
Well, gretorp knows that Phoenix went for that Banshee, and that's 300 gas, you know, for that Cloak and for that first Banshee, so he's going to be down 3 tanks. And without tank support, he was low on tanks, so he could just A-move in and take him out. He used those Marines really quite effectively to take some damage. And now gretorp is at the natural expansion. He's at the lower ledge of the natural expansion for Phoenix, and Phoenix is going to be losing a lot of Marines here to these tanks. And now the Banshee is trying to prevent this from happening, but the Vikings are there, and there's the scan, so he's going to be able to take out this Banshee and force it away. So Phoenix is really in a dire situation here. That gretorp is in such good position at the natural expansion. So hopefully Phoenix, he looks like he might try to use a Banshee harassment to get back into this game, as there's still no turret at the main for gretorp, but Phoenix able to move up with his tanks using really nice micro here, but there's still 3 tanks here for gretorp. gretorp really needs to get that SCV on auto repair. He moved the SCVs here, but they're not on auto repair, and he's losing to the high ground advantage that Phoenix has.
Yeah, the high ground advantage indeed, Surgeon. You know, gretorp's 3 Vikings just have reign over the air, and Phoenix hasn't been able to match gretorp so far in the air battles. Sure, you can make some scans and send in some Marines, but Banshees don't shoot air. That's a known law of physics, and so, but they can shoot siege tanks. But these Vikings are just, the Vikings with added sight are just making mincemeat right now with Phoenix on this map.
So it looks like he lures the Vikings away and he's going to be moving up with his tank, but the one Viking does come back and he was able to get vision and take out that tank, and he's going to lose, Fenix is going to lose all of his forces except for one tank that is now reinforcing. So yeah, these tanks are just doing so much damage, 7 and 10 kills for these 2 tanks. So we do have Fenix just...
no, sorry, go ahead.
We do have Fenix trying to get back up into the macro game, but he's just got such a positional disadvantage that I don't see him coming back from this. But he is Fenix, and he does love his Banshee play. So, but
yeah, it looks like gretorp has reinforcements coming, and Fenix is trying to pick them off, but he won't be able to. SCV is taking some of the damage there, and gretorp still just pushing in on the natural of Fenix. If we look at the resources lost, 6,000 for Fenix, meanwhile only about 2,000 for gretorp. That is the story of this game. And it looks like that the army count is 83 for gretorp, so he is pulling an advantage right now, and will he be able to keep these tanks alive?
He's going to try to take those tanks by pulling SCVs off the line, and he's really just making SCVs to get shot by these tanks, and that's why the unit's loss is so high for Fenix, and he's finally going to maybe take this out, as that Marauder actually did get taken down, and there's the GG from Fenix, so gretorp really doing a nice job.
Yeah, hats off to gretorp for coming back.